No Jews ever wrote that, but why do they all live practicing everything in the book? Don't tell me you ain't got nothing to do with it when it's describing your entire modus operandi from the time you came until the time your ass about to get kicked out. The next generation, elder, these next generation now, all I had to do was get them to think and know who they was and show them where our elders already been telling us and tie it all together. What Malachi taught, what Bobby Hemmitt taught, what Elijah Muhammad taught, what Clarence 13X taught, what Yahweh ben Yahweh taught. Why Yahweh ben Yahweh doctrine as a Hebrew Israelite is different from Ben Ami doctrine as a Hebrew Israelite.
Go ahead.
Right, and both of them doctrines is different from the nation of Israel. They got all these different doctrines supposed to be the same thing, just like the church, denominations.
Right.
Because everybody got a piece, but nobody got the whole puzzle.
Right.
And they all gonna hold a piece back until somebody come along, and then they gonna slide that piece to him and say, see if this piece fit.
Right.
Right? So the hardest part of the puzzle to figure out was the black hand. The mystery of the black hand, the unseen hand, the hidden hand, was the niggas that Yakub left in charge of his grafted devil. Right? That's the biggest part of it. Elijah got the biggest piece of the pie to give you. But that discipline of them FOI, don't no nigga want that discipline. These niggas are scared of discipline. If you try to give them some FOI style discipline in one of these other groups, they not going to be able to function. They going to panic. Right? Why they going to panic? Because now somebody teaching you to stand on your own, be ready to defend yourself at all times, but also how to be courteous to other people. They don't want that. They want to be derelicts, degenerates, victims. This is why the slave narrative is so hard for our minds to break, because as long as we see ourselves as a victim, we're going to keep getting victimized.
Right.
Everybody pushing that slave narrative, wherever y'all see them niggas that y'all need to throw a rock at them.
Right.
Hit them with a rotten egg. The slave narrative is only to take your prisoner of war status and turn you into a permanent victim instead of you realizing we ain't never stopped fighting in 500 years. How the hell you think we were slaves? We ain't never been no slave, because the narrative they give you tell you that the children of the women of a slave woman is a slave no matter who her father is. Right? So that means that once you a slave, always a slave, you can't break free. And as long as you can't break free, they got you mentally entrapped. You looking for reparations instead of birthright.
Right.
I don't want no reparations. I want birthright.
Go ahead. Talk to him, Rod.
I was born to be the motherfucking high chief of Turtle Island.
Go ahead.
On the leadership rulership line. I was not born to be a peasant. I wasn't born to be somebody begging that master table for some crumbs when he got my cake up there that he eating off of. No, flip this motherfucker over.
Go ahead.
Flip the table over. If I can't eat my own food, you can't have none either. And until we get out that slave mentality, them telling us we were slaves. This is why what's my man name, bro?
Ducateers?
It's the book. I can't remember the name of the book. If I remember the name of the book, the name of the author. But When We Were Kings, the name of the book, I believe it's the name of it. Right? Why would he even tell you when you was kings and then turn around and push a slave narrative? You can't be a king and a slave at the same time. You one or the other. You can be a prisoner of war and still be a king. You could be a prisoner of war and still be a general. You could be a prisoner of war and still be the prince, heir to the throne. You can be a prisoner of war and be every high-ranked official you ever seen, but you cannot be a slave and be any of that.
Go ahead.
A slave is a permanent servant status. derived from Yugoslavians usurped by Moors.
Go
The
ahead.
Yugoslavians was the ones that we became known as slave. Slave is a Slav, and a Slav is from Yugoslavia.
Go ahead.
This is where they got their royal harems from, that they produce your Khazarians. Your Khazarians is a mulatto hybrid race. They a mixture of dirty Moors and European pale-faced Slavics.
Go ahead.
They love their sons that came from them because they carried themselves a little bit different than regular Moors, and they didn't act nothing like the Slavs they came from. So they gave him the banker rights. The banker ain't got no hereditary royal rights. He just got you can count my money, son. I'm gonna give you an important job. I'm gonna let you count my money. And if you count money long enough, you're gonna understand how money works.
Go ahead.
It's a book called Modern Money Mechanics. For all y'all say I don't got no references. Modern Money Mechanics was written by the Federal Reserve to tell them how the fractional reserve system was going to drain your pockets.
Gang.
Right? So once they got them, this is why they fighting in Israel, to keep them from fighting in Ukraine. Ukraine is Khazaria. These niggas don't read history, so they don't know that the war in what we call in the Middle East on the Gaza Strip is to keep everybody out of Ukraine.
Hey, now I got since you paused right there, I got another question for you.
Come on with it.
Cause this one right here, heavy duty, man. So on my research on studying the land, Mississippi come up a lot, man, as some kind of significant spot. Like Chicago is significant, but you know, like Larry Hoover, Jeff Ford, the King David Boxtel, all these guys that went up to Chicago, they come out of Mississippi. And
because the old Mississippians is the last line of defense.
Go ahead. Could you go ahead on that? Why Mississippi is important? And go ahead.
Yeah, the Mississippian clans, which a whole bunch of us, a sub-tribe is Chickasaw. Those are sub-tribes of Mississippian. The Mississippian is the same as your Aztec, Olmec, Incas, and Mayas. We used to encompass the Fertile Crescent of the Americas after the meteors struck and formed the Gulf. That's how it became the Fertile Crescent. Just like it really wasn't no meteor, it really was a bomb. Just like the one that created the Mediterranean was a bomb.
Go ahead.
But they want to tell us it was meteors, and the people want to fall for the meteor story. So we gonna say it's a meteor, but it didn't change the fact that we was there when the meteor hit.
Right. Go ahead.
Okay. And the remnants of the remaining civilization went into South America, came into North America because they was displaced in the land. What we know as St. Bernard Parish was called a shelf. That means it was a piece of land with a whole bunch of water under it. So when they start bombing, they could sink St. Bernard Parish by putting a hole between the main land and the parish where it'll sink under the water. So they did it. Don't believe me? Go look up St. Bernard Parish. It's right there. They got churches there. How is it a church there if it's been sunk for thousands of years and wasn't no churches over here?
Right. Go ahead.
There were no churches over here until they started converting our cathedrals into churches.
Go ahead.
The cross is not a cross. The cross is a sword and a stone. Where that story come from, Elder? King Arthur's Knights of the Round Table.
He can pull the sword out the stone.
Right. All that is what made him worthy to pull the sword out the stone.
I can't remember. That's been so long.
His blood right.
Yeah. Birthright, yeah.
And so when you go back to the blood right, and then you understand the bloodlines of a holy grail, what is he talking about? These are the offspring of Jesus. Jesus is Isis, 12 daughters. They all women. It's going to be a woman that's going to bring it all around full circle. Right? It's two women that was the big mamas of the land. One of them crossed over, so that left one remaining heir. The big mama off the Red House was Empress Verdiasi. Now we got to go to the East Coast Blue House, we had to go to Empress Rarebird, the next in line, right? And the heritable rights come through the woman. The land you can't sell land. All this old taxing on your property bullshit. That's all fraud. That's all fraud. They not supposed to be able to take your land. Once Big Mama give you a plot of land, the only people can take it is your brother, your sister, or your children. Can't nobody else take it from you.
Go ahead.
But when you don't know your birthright, when you don't know your bloodline, you don't got to have no paperwork to know who you is. You got to know who you is more important than the paperwork.
Go ahead.
Because now it's going to light a fire under you, root chakra, that's going to rise up to find your crown chakra, right? And then you're going to speak up, throat chakra, and tell these people the truth, heart chakra. And it's going to hit them in a emotional context, your third chakra, right? And then they're going to tell it to their offspring, second chakra. Come on, man. It's all in alignment.
Go ahead.
It's all in alignment. The earth got chakras and we got chakras. And when our chakras talk to the earth chakras, we making some shit move.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now where we at, the average Joe that thought he was from Africa is starting to realize, wait a minute, that story don't even make no effing sense.
Go ahead.
It don't make sense. They got millions of people over here. They said they killed us off. They killed us off on paper. They didn't kill us off in truth.
Paper genocide. Go ahead. Walter
right.
In the game.
And Andrew Jackson. Yep. Don't leave his punk ass out. Yep. Then you remember, King George set up Georgia to be a buffer zone between the Spanish Armada fighting in Florida and the French Huguenots fighting in New Orleans. Because when we was fighting both sides. They got to cut us off from each other.
It is deep. Go ahead.
Georgia was never meant to be a state. It was supposed to be a buffer zone because when the real servants that they brought over here with them was escaping. Can you pull up the picture of the
it's probably gonna mess my computer up since I got a lot of stuff. I got a lot of files on my computer. I didn't get a chance to slide them to this hard drive. So as soon as I go pull it up,
I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up just to show you. Okay. But look, they keep telling us that the nappy head person in the Gullah Wars was the runaway. He wasn't the runaway slave.
Nah.
The runaway slave was the Mongolian.
Yeah, they call it the Seminole. So if he a runaway, he a Seminole.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got another 5 question for you after this one too. After we get off this question. Cause I got about, man, it's a game that's going on that I'm seeing over here. Especially about them letting people come over to this country and be born over here, and then they get more privileges than the original earth, the original land, like the original people that's over here. You know what I'm saying? Like I noticed it's a lot of foreigners that own a lot of stuff over here, like businesses, like houses, rent houses and all that. And they over here and they come over here and they get a leg up. They get a leg up starting out. They come over here and buy a house, cash. How's that happening when how's Nubians still struggling the way we struggling as a whole when all these foreigners are coming over here and they just come right up over here, get a 10, 20,000 from the bank? Is that part of the plot against? Is that part of a plot against us?
Yeah.
To let everybody else get on but us?
They trying to overrun the land with foreigners so that we become the minority, but they can't never do it because what end up happening is anybody that get a drop of blood, now they become one of us.
Go ahead. That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. They got the
trying to find this particular book about the Seminole Wars, Gullah Wars. You got a brother and a so-called Native Americans standing side by side.
Go ahead.
And they telling us that the brother was the runaway. He wasn't a runaway slave. He wasn't the one that
They got that on the cover of the book called The Black Indians. You've seen it. Got that book I got a book called The Black Indians, and they got a brother on the front, and then they got one of those the brothers are Asian because
Here you go right here.
The Black Indians, right? The cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that book.
Now, the person that don't know history think that when they talking about the runaway slave, they talking about that dude.
Yeah.
But this was the runaway slave. That's who they brought when they came as servants.
Right.
Right. Them the ones that they set up schools to teach them how to mimic us.
Right.
Man, that's the biggest. Them the ones that they switched us out with in the Trail of Tears. That's why they all on reservations.
And in fact, the dude that's on that cover, Rod, he the chief. He's the chief of the Chickasaw. The dude that's on that cover, he's a chief of the Chickasaw tribe.
Mm-hmm. You talking about the brother with the suit on?
Yeah, he a chief of the Chickasaw tribe. The dude that they got on that cover.
Right. So, like I be telling people, they telling us they brought us from Africa. We ran away, and we were so hard to catch because we knew the land too well. How you gonna come from Africa and know America better than the motherfucker that been living here, keeping people in bondage for the last 80, 90, 100 years?
Go ahead.
That don't even make sense. And then they running away at like 12 and 13 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And they knowing how to navigate the land. Ain't no foreigner gonna know at 12, 13 years old gonna know how to navigate the land like that. I'm sorry, but it's not gonna happen. This is so much that goes into the fairy tales that they give us as history. You got to remember, the victors write the history. I didn't make that quote up.
Right.
If the victor is writing the history, what version of history is he gonna tell the people he's trying to oppress?
Right.
He gonna make them proud of their oppressor, proud of whatever governmental format they set up. Right? That's called patriarchal pride, or what they call patriotism.
Go ahead.
They want to take you from your motherland, tie you to a fatherland that's a foreigner.
Go ahead.
The fatherland don't determine heritable birthright land ownership. Where we get all the land from? Why are we the largest heritable landowners at the turn of the century of the 1900s?
Right.
And we brought from Africa. That don't even match.
Yeah. And how all these brothers got doctor's degrees back when people were a lot of these brothers had doctor's degrees back when people were supposed to be slaves and there wasn't no Nubian schools. That's what they telling us all this. But how these brothers got doctor's degrees? How's there a brother like Frederick Douglass during time like up high in the government? Like that, and they said that the Nubians were slaves. They don't, like, the storyline do not make sense. Like a lot of stuff they saying don't make sense. And also, Rod, how they gonna bring that many slaves on the boat over here, and that the boats wasn't even, the whole construct of you got to take 6 months to get over here. Where you get water from? If the water is salt water, like, it's a lot of stuff that just don't make sense.
Yeah. Well, that's we know that it take 2 weeks to get from Europe. It take to get to the mainland United States. It take 2 weeks to get from Europe. It take 90 days to get from Northwest Africa over here. So you do the math. 2 weeks from Europe, 90 days Northwest Africa. Where these motherfuckers come from? When you look at it, Elder, they fighting all of these wars for these hundreds of years. They got prisoners of war that they putting into bondage. The prisoners of war that they putting into bondage is not coming from Africa.
Go ahead.
They pale-faced Europeans, hairy Europeans, which is the children of what we call the Enkiduites. Then they got Mongolians they fighting with. They got Huns. It's a book called Leadership Secrets of Attila the Hun, where he talk about doing student exchange with the Romans. The Romans became the Romanovs. We don't know nothing about them people. Wasn't no Romanovs over here.
Go ahead.
Wasn't no Etruscans over here. Wasn't no Christians or Muslims or Jews over here. Hebrews were. We was already here building pyramids as the great Atlan for eons.
That's my next
Eons.
for you too.
You know what I'm saying? So all of a sudden, we get sacked, we fight a war, and the victors rewrite the history. Winston Churchill said the truth is so valuable, it must be carefully guarded by a ring of lies. What is they lying about? Everything. Well, that's at the center that they're trying to cover up. If you don't know who you is, you forfeit your birthright. You can only lose your birthright by surrender, which is forfeiture, right? Or the acquiescence at a defeat. You just don't wake up and your birthright gone. It's a process to take your birthright. Right. But as long as one person fighting with a heritable right to the land, and the fight is not always physical. See, we can think that the only way to fight for what's ours is to blow shit up, tear shit up, because that's how they came over here, blowing shit up, tearing shit up. The knowledge is king. In other words, the king is the one with the knowledge to tell you about the birthright.
Right. The
pretender to the throne is the heir. Right? The heir is Heru, seeking to become Usir.
Go ahead.
Horus is trying to become Osiris. The son is trying to come to the reign as the father.
Go ahead.
You know, none of it worked without the permission of Offset.
Go ahead.
Right? So what do you got to do? You got to wake the people up. You got to master knock, guerrilla knock. Right? When you can't get it done, you call for the next in the line of descent. The next in the line behind Tupac, go back to the movie Black Panther. Who was the only one that T'Challa could allow to take the throne? The Gorilla King. Right? That's because it's an order. And the order is played out as the holy drama. We reenact that BS on the ground, but we don't be knowing what we doing because we doing it autonomically. It's a subconscious resonance of the mind of the royal families to put everything back in order. The job of the misfit is to try to keep us from finding the proper order. When you get all of the kings have been displaced, you come in, you send your priest first. Why you send your priest first? That's called the soft sell. Priests don't get the job done. Now you got to send in a group of generals.
Go ahead.
The general don't get the job done. He got to bring you in the princes, the children of the father, the sons. When they don't get the job done, they got to call on daddy, the king.
Go ahead.
When the king don't get the job done, he called on the emperor. That's what made Haile Selassie have any value to us whatsoever.
Go ahead.
Because the king's got to call for the emperor. The emperor can't get the job done. Now he got to start calling on the gods.
Right.
This is how you conjure up them people that you can't stop. They don't stop. They just keep re-strategizing until they win. That's it. The gods don't play by the rules of man. They play by universal law. They don't play by your book law.
Right.
Your book law is contract law. That's the lowest form of law. Right? Contract law is designed to usurp your rulership. And we will all push this uniform commercial code contract law in ad infinitum, and it's an illusion.
Go ahead.
The rightful heir don't need no paperwork.
Now, my word is gone. The word is
that's
gone.
it. Husia, authoritative utterance, exceptional insight.
Yeah.
Them people in DC sitting in them secret chambers know exactly who I am.
Go ahead.
Them niggas in them lodges, they know exactly who I am. They shocked because they didn't think it was real.
That's gonna be my next question. We going that way. About the lodge and the Masons. We going that way.
Yeah, right. So they all know who we are. They've been following us from birth.
Yeah.
I used to couldn't figure out why I can't get. I'm on the run from the police. I know they know where I'm at. I'm like, why these niggas ain't coming?
Right.
It's the process. They gotta allow you enough room or enough rope to hang yourself.
Yeah. They can't do it unless you make a deal with them. You make a deal with them, they can come get you. See, look, that's
Well,
why they
no, they can come get you without the deal, but you have to trip and fall. You have to slip up.
Yeah,
You have to repeat. You have to repeat a mistake that you should have learned from.
That's right.
As long as you ain't repeating the mistake that you should have learned from, they can't touch you. It's a game of knowledge. And only the wise know how to play it. A damn fool will never figure it out.
Right. This is my next question for you, man. Because this always put my, like, I know a whole bunch of Masons, you know, and my granddad, everybody, man. Like, I'm trying to figure out, like I don't see what a Black Masons is a part of what's going down. I don't see what, like, I think they blind to it. They just, I don't think they fully, totally, I can't say aware. I don't know the Black Masons, where I say like the Prince of Halls and the other, like all the John E. Jones, all the Black lodges. I don't think they completely aware. I mean, they aware of it, of what, because some, they know what happened to us. But why would they go around walking around and knowing what happened to us, that we got our birthrights took, and then they won't say nothing, even if you made the oath? Like after a certain point, like, you know, you down with it. We got to say we gonna have to get on them too. We gonna have to get at them too, because you know what was going down, and you walking around and you just acting like you don't want to say nothing. So we're gonna have to do you too. You know what I'm saying?
All right, let me ask you this then. Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
When two heavyweight fighters get in the ring to fight, how come the boxing commission don't get in the ring and fight on one of their side?
Because they get paid off both of them. You know what I'm saying?
The boxing commission's job is to watch the fight. They ain't supposed to participate.
Go ahead.
This fight is between fez-wearing Moors from Europe and feather-wearing chiefs from this land. It don't got nothing to do with them. We operative, they speculative. Everybody that goes to the lodge in Brotherhood, they all they speculative Masons. They don't have no keys.
Go ahead.
All their keys is broke, so they can't open no doors.
Go ahead.
Right? Now, if by chance an operative Mason stroll in there, all of them is in a panic, because we ain't supposed to go in the lodges.
Go ahead.
And they get into a panic. They got a scene from one of these movies. I think it was American Gods, where a birthright brother came in and sat down all of the pale faces that was the ones that was supposed to be running the show, because now the birthright elder then stepped in the building. Right. The reason that's important is because the only way that one of the chiefs or one of the dirty Moors that came over here to usurpers, we got to meet in the street. We got to meet in the street. We got to have a discussion. The lower the environment, the more valuable the discussion. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And once the discussion is had, it's about who better know who we are, you or me.
Right.
Right. And when the ones that don't know surrender, then that's how you knock them for their fez, or they knock you for your feathers.
Go ahead. Watch me.
Once this is done, because remember, the whole thing is to be master of masters, a self-raised master. You can't have no degrees.
Right.
You disqualified from the fight if you went through their system because you are an educated fool.
Right.
But if you are educated, but you ain't nobody's fool, you ain't been to nobody's shoe to be put into this hellfire.
Go ahead.
Right. So what do? All of the rightful heirs that go through university, they got the pledge. They go Kappa, Omega, Sigma, Theta. Why do they use Greek alphabets?
Go ahead.
They use Greek alphabets because that's matriarchy. So as long as you don't know it's matriarchy, you think they're taking Greek culture. The Greek culture was given to them by Egypt.
Go ahead. It's a number system.
Mm-hmm. So it's a beta number system, an alpha beta system.
Yeah.
So all of the ones that pledge as a fraternal brother is a beta. That means he's a second. He ain't a first.
Go ahead.
Right? But then the ones who get blessed into the street organization, because some of us got blessed in at birth.
Mm-hmm.
Then he got what's called first right to the earth right to reclaim the throne for Big Mama, put her back on her seat, so that we can all be living back like we was in Atlantis. This was only a temporary thing. America was going to come and go. America was just a war. It was a conclusion to a bloody war that became a conjure war. Right? And now we reenacting history in reverse in real time. And we don't even know what we're looking at because we think we historians, but we don't know history in depth enough. I used to kick myself for reading all them damn books because I wouldn't have to deal with none of this shit. I could have been a regular buffoon walking around idiot like everybody else.
Right.
But
regular street thug.
Yeah. But because I decided to improve myself so I could be a better person, I didn't know I was gonna put me in the middle of this fight. I didn't want this. I didn't want none of this. I just wanted to be a better me for me and for my children. I wanted to be able to teach them how to navigate this system and be able to live their life comfortable. I didn't never think that it was going to come down to me having to wake up all of these sleeping tribes that been rocked to sleep by this enemy.
Right.
And tracing them back, I kept blowing my own mind like, this the same niggas. Them the same niggas. Ain't none of these crackers. And this the thing that threw me for a loop, because when they first came, most of us don't know Columbus was a Negro. He was a Portuguese Jew. Right?
Right.
Most of us don't know Pietro del Negro was the navigator, was a Portuguese black ass Jew.
Go ahead.
Most of us don't know
what his name means.
Most of us never realized that the Pope wears a yarmulke. They just called it something different.
Yeah, he do. They do.
Right.
They always.
And when you get done tracing the Jews back, they go through name changes that mean the same thing. They call themselves Jew because they was on the jewelry in Europe.
Go ahead.
Right? Who was the people on the jewelry in Europe? They were the ones that they called Hebrew or Israelites or Jacobites. Who was the Jacobites? The children of Jacob, who was renamed Israel to hide his identity. So the Jacobite is the usurper because the Jacob means usurper, underminer.
Yeah.
Well, who is he undermining? Well, according to the book, the Adama. Who is the Adama? The earthborn. They got these new Hebrews telling us that Edom, which is the same word as Adam, literally mean pale face, and that's not what it means.
Red man.
It don't mean that. It mean from the earth.
Yeah.
Right? Now, the only place I know where some people supposed to claim from some red dirt, because in Africa, they say that the African was from the black dirt of the Aswan.
Go ahead.
Right? But over here, we come from Mississippi clay dirt, red dirt.
Go ahead.
The Adama, the earthborn.
Copper tone.
Yeah. But the ones over there come from the black soil of the Aswan.
Go ahead.
But with those little details go by us because it's hidden in plain sight. Put it right in your face and you don't know what the meaning of the word is. You don't know what they're talking about. Right? The Chinese came from the Yellow River. What the Yellow River? What the fuck is you talking about? We came from the Red Mississippi River. The Africans came from the black soils of the Aswan, and the Asians came from the soil of the Yellow River.
Go ahead.
And we don't want to talk about that because now somebody got some splaining to do. It don't nobody want to be asking no questions because the scholars said we all came from Africa.
Yeah, but see, Elijah Muhammad pointed at what you just said about the yellow man. Elijah Muhammad pointed that out. You know, they didn't want to hear that when he pointed it out.
Yeah, you know, so they you know, they got all of these different terminologies. They create word soup, word salad to confuse us. You know what I'm saying? They got us thinking that the Mexicans and the Puerto Ricans and the Dominicans is a whole different group of people because they all speak Spanish and we speak English. They all the same as us. They just niggas that was the Spanish influence outweighed the English influence.
That's right. They speak the conqueror language.
And the Haitians speak French. They don't speak French because that's their native language. They speak French because they was at war with the French. The French got the temporary upper hand so we can go fight this kind of war. Let them think they won, baby. Because when we come back, we coming back for everything they owe. Somebody else said that.
Yeah. Hey, do you think that that they'll ever come clean about it at this point? Because it seems like now Trump is coming out saying a lot of things, and the certain people. But do you think they'll all come all the way clean and tell us, man, y'all been trading back and forth? We already know because we got the evidence that, hey, corn, it's corn on the wall in ancient Kemet, corn origin over here, so they had to been trading for like thousands of years with corn and watermelon and things and different things. And
listen,
so do they think they'll ever come clean and come out to say it? Hey, man, you know, here's you know, y'all was over here, y'all this people. They'll just come out and just lay it on us. That they ever come clean. Go ahead.
Yeah, they're gonna have to confess. Because there's too many of us that knows the truth now. There's too many of us can see through the charade. And the more we keep waking each other up, it's going to reach critical mass of an undeniable perspective where we know exactly who he is. We know exactly who we up against. We know exactly what to do. And here go the kicker. It's going to look like the worst case of black on black violence we ever seen. Because them niggas look like us, they ain't us. And we know how they move now. And they the ones, they families and they bloodlines been pulling the strings behind this BS the whole time.
Hey, should we prepare for economical crash? Because like on their system, their money system, should we be prepared like to have a survival package or like, you know, for a couple months or wherever? Because we already know that the reset is coming, the switch. Where they leave. So what should we have to deal with it? Because if you can't use money, you can't use the ATM card. You can't get no when they say, oh, you can't go to the ATM and get no money out. And then, you know, so how do we, just in case that could possibly happen, economical system? I see it happening. It's got to happen for the switch to come over eventually. And it's got to be within this 4 years, I think, when Trump was in there. So if that could happen, an economical shutdown, what do you think that we would need to survive that economical shutdown? Because that could be crazy. Like if we go back like to the Great Depression, 1933, when Noble Drew Ali set them up and got the land back, they had to go and regroup, man. So if you take something like that,
Noble Drew Ali could never reclaim the land. He had to point it to the rightful tribal mother.
Yeah.
And she could reclaim the land because she got birthright.
Yeah.
He got enforcement right. He had to go dig it out and say, okay, Big Mama, this who did it. Yeah. This where they at, right? And if the mother reclaimed, like for instance, Empress Verdiasi reclaimed the land, but she didn't have an enforcement branch. Mm-hmm. All her enforcers was locked up. Angel Bay, Big Tookie, Larry Hoover, Big Booney Black, all of the ones that the COINTEL rounded up was her enforcement arms. Yeah. They cut off all her enforcement arms. So now she can't make them do nothing no more.
Right.
Because all of the ones that was supposed to enforce her jurisdictional supremacy has been removed from the land.
Go ahead.
They've been put in bond servant status as POWs. Right? Or they was just flat out executed because they was about that life.
Go ahead.
You know, they couldn't corrupt them like Giant Africa from the MOVE movement. Joseph Senku, he did exactly the opposite of what they told him to do.
Go ahead.
You know, then you got like Asada, her territory is the New Jersey area.
Go ahead.
Right. But all of the people that was there, but didn't nobody understand the law enough and politics and who was pulling the strings well enough to reclaim her territory. So you got all this is going on. The tribes is scrambling, trying to get somebody to buckle down in the books.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they already knew that everything that they was doing, they wrote about it.
Right.
Right. Because part of their agreement for them to stay in power is they had to keep a meticulous record. Why do you think you can go pull up something on an animal from this land and it'll give you a whole lengthy discussion, but they don't talk about the people?
Right.
With the same lengthy discussion. They want us to, the dirty Moors want us to believe that we was all Moors. Well, which tribe acknowledged the Moors? Right? Because no tribe called themselves Moor. Right? The closest tribe to the name is the Amaru.
Go ahead.
Right? And the Moray.
Yeah.
Two different tribes, two different locations, but they didn't identify with them people called conquistadors. They didn't identify with Huguenots, so they didn't identify with the common term Moor. Right? So if the Moors was on the land, they would have been designated a geographical stretch of land to operate on and operate from. Right? So if you ask any Moor, righteous Moor, dirty Moor, don't matter who was the lawgiver, what they gonna tell you? It's the Els. The Els is the lawgivers. What do that mean? Trace back the copyright to all the law books. They all copyright in London. That ought to tell you enough right there.
Go ahead.
Right? If all of the law books is copyrighted in London, that means anybody that benefit from the law has to be paying London.
Go ahead.
Right? So where is the barrister's charter? The first barrister charter was given in Savannah, Georgia by King George. Okay, so now we're getting somewhere.
Go ahead.
So who's the lawgivers? Right? All of the laws in America is codified by barristers. We didn't have barristers. We had people like Malachi was a Miku.
Mm-hmm.
They translated into English as chief.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's a whole bunch of other words because nobody called their leader the same thing. It's the generic term chief cover all of the different types of leaders that we had on the land. We had leaders in charge of stuff like folding blankets. Mm-hmm. If the blanket ain't fold right, the leader come in and say, hey, you got to refold that. Mm-hmm. Everything was a priesthood because everything was done with the reverence for the great mother while you doing it. That's why we did everything with so much conviction and so much fervor reverence.
What they call soul.
Yep.
They put his soul. He cooked that soul food, or that's he put his soul into that.
Yep.
Just like the soul, and that's why they take the soul of your foot when you're born to steal your birthrights. When you're a baby in the hospital, they put take a copy of your footprint.
Soul plate. That's what that's called. But this whole thing is, I done went through the war from so many different angles to try to get people to see what's taking place. Like, it ain't what y'all think. Racism is a tool. Racism is founded upon the fallacy, on what they call a scientific fallacy. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right? The Outer Africa theory is questionable because we have older artifacts over here than they have in Africa. We got older pyramids over here than they do in Africa. So even if everybody did come from Africa, civilization came from here.
Go ahead. Then
all of the humans on Earth, the carbon molecule that they made of is corn. Well, we the only ones that was doing anything with corn. We created it.
Yeah.
So then that must have been before we took on the human body, the avatar of a hominid. Somebody was in the laboratory with the corn saying this would be a good carbon. to filter the melanin in order to get maximum output from the crystalline amino acids that form the DNA.
Yeah, you just said some heavy duty scientific jargon right there.
Yeah, but they don't want to talk about none of that, because that's the type of stuff like the oldest, like they tell us Lucy was the oldest hominid found. Lucy wasn't even a human. She was something called proconsul.
Go ahead.
She wasn't even human. So she could have just as well been the oldest chimpanzee as she could the oldest human in equal proportion, truthfully speaking. But the oldest intact human was a sister found in the Carolinas. Let that sink in.
Go ahead.
So they telling us what they want us to believe instead of telling us the truth.
In facts. I'm telling
you know, so
in facts. Hey, so do you think now, so we know that Empress Radbird got they London offered her back up the paperwork and other things. Now, what's Trump? Is Trump connected with Empress Radbird? Do he even know anything about Empress Radbird? What's the connection with the? Go ahead.
Trump probably got a picture of me, her, and a couple more people on his desk in his private office.
I damn sure wish I did.
Look, he's the liquidator in chief.
That's right.
When you get ready to liquidate a company, you call in a specialist to execute the bankruptcy and to liquidate the assets and do what's called a full forensic audit of all assets that's overseas and wherever it's at, wherever the asset is. Now, once the assets is accounted for, then you give them what's called a portfolio. Now you know how much of your money was stolen, where did it go to, right? Then you know how much money you got on reserve, what you had to work with. Without the audits, they can't give you everything back.
Yeah, that's why they auditing right now. That's what's going on exactly right now.
Yeah, so before this is part of liquidation of assets. Remember, in 2008, they started appointing city managers everywhere that was liquidating city assets because all cities are corporations. Right? All corporations is subservient to the flesh and blood person.
Go ahead.
They don't want you to know that.
Yeah, damn, they damn so don't. They damn so don't.
Because once you realize that, you can restore tribal order to any city, but you need the whole city support. That's where the problem come in at. Because you got more people disillusioned about what's taking place on the land than you have that's in the know and aware and ready to do something about it. The youngsters, I'm kind of worried for them because I want them to organize before they strike. It's just a matter of time. If Trump take too long doing what he's doing, it's just a matter of time where you're gonna see millions of children. When I say children, 25 and under, taken to the streets to demand what's theirs.
Yeah, I see it happening.
They shouldn't have to do that because the guys in my age group and all the way down to the 25. So from 25 to 60, we supposed to be doing the information network to let them know who did it, where they at, how to recognize the enemy. We supposed to be doing all of the strategic investigation. The ones before me, they did all of the investigation research. Well, we got to find it. It's in books and places in books. So get a book called Secrets of the Temple about the Federal Reserve. And then you understand that the Federal Reserve don't even belong here, right? They had a blackout a couple of days ago in Puerto Rico. But we don't know that that's the home base for the IRS.
Go ahead. They reset up in Puerto Rico in what 18 something.
It's an IRS job. The IRS is like a private collection agency with we should call them the knee breakers. You know, knee breaker come in with services. Yeah. So when they come in busting your kneecaps because you ain't paid the boss, right? This is the IRS.
Yeah.
Right? They sending people to prison without a victim. There's no crime when there's no victim.
Yeah.
Right? So they say that the whole other country is the victim. One person can't victimize the whole country. I'm sorry to tell you. Not as a direct victim. You could be an indirect victim, collateral damage, but you can't be the young elder versus the people of the United States of America by yourself.
Yeah.
Every court order say that. Every court warrant is the people of the state or the people of the U.S. versus this one individual.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. That's an economically one-sided fight.
Yeah.
You cannot win.
Yeah.
Not only is it an economically one-sided fight, it's rigged.
Go ahead.
Because you're the only one in the fight that's not part of brotherhood.
Go ahead.
The brotherhood is the bar. Right? So judge is a bar member, prosecutor bar member, your lawyer is a bar member. What the fuck you doing there? I don't got no bar card. Why am I even in your affairs? Because to them, you the same as that file. This all you is to the attorneys and prosecutors. You one of these.
Paperwork.
You're a book. You're a collection of data. That's it. People say, how can you fight for the death penalty? It's the same as fighting for burning the book to them.
Wow. That's it.
It's easy to fight to burn the book if you think it's some BS in the book. Why do we have a whole history of book burning sessions all over the world? Why is they burning up all the books?
Go ahead.
They told us they burned down Alexander. They didn't tell us that they took all of the critical books and put them under the Vatican, though.
Yeah.
We didn't know that they had created an underground tunnel that went from what they call Jerusalem all the way to the Vatican. We didn't know that.
Go ahead.
We discovered this in the last 40 years.
Yeah, the Masons know about it because Doc talk about that too.
Yeah. And one of the most prolific researchers that we've had that put out more material than any one man can reasonably do is Malachi.
Mm-hmm.
But he knew because of what he was doing. He was like, it's just a matter of time before they come. They're not coming for me. I'm going to tell you why they're not coming for me, young elder.
Why?
They're not coming for me because I don't fit the pattern.
Yeah.
I don't fit the MO.
Yeah.
So they can't justify it to their brother. Most thing they can do is probably get some old trumped up warrant like a child support or driving with no license, traffic ticket warrant. Yeah. They can't get me on nothing serious.
Yeah,
because I don't fit.
And I realize they ain't gonna waste their time on trying to get you nothing for nothing little no more. These guys, they like to get you on something they know they gonna have you down for have their finger with no grease on it up in your behind. They want to have you up in there, you know what I'm saying, dead to the left. They gotta have you all the way to the left when they get you. Right?
And that's why, that's why people don't understand when I tell them I can't do public function. They don't understand that. Mm-hmm. But the reason I can't do public functions is I got to stay outside of the pattern, outside of the war protocol. Right. I can't be just jumping up, going places with large groups of people, because as soon as they classify you as an organizer, that's when the guillotine drops. And I don't have enough confidence that the people gonna come get me like Malachi did. Yeah. He had a whole lot of confidence in the Nuwabians that they was gonna figure out the correct keys to turn to get him free. Yeah. Right. And they some of them did some serious fighting, but more of them did some serious leeching, living off his legacy, and don't want him to come home so they can continue to live off his legacy. Right. But he had a lot of confidence in the people that he gave all that knowledge to freely from his heart. You know what I'm saying? Man, yeah, man, that's repugnant. That's real. That's belligerent to a leader. Yeah. And now the thing about bringing him home is they still want him dead because they want to live off his wealth, and they scared that he gonna cut him off when he come home. Mm-hmm. So now we gotta wait till everything is all the way turned around before we can get the man home, because his own people is saturated with agents.
Right. Right. They heavily infiltrated, man. Like, to me, he was like one of the most infiltrated because he had the most people besides the Nation of Islam. You know, Doc had a lot of people coming from all over the world, from Trinidad, Jamaica, from London. Like, you know, he's like, Doc was moving. If they wouldn't have got him at right then, like, he was spreading too fast. What he was doing was going too fast for him, you know, worldwide. They had to make an example. They had to tear his name down. They had to make him look like the worst thing they ever walk the earth. So people that wouldn't listen to him. You know, this is part of their tactic. You know, the COINTELPRO operations at the North Gate.
I got some files from a judge named Judge Bornstein. Mm-hmm. And he tell you why they use sex cases.
Go ahead.
The only evidence in the sex case is the allegation.
What?
The allegation is the evidence. It's the only case on the books where the allegation is the key evidence in the case.
Yeah. Oh, he touched me. That's on. Gotta be.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. That's it. You don't even have to have ever been in the same room with that person, but the allegation is the key evidence.
Yeah, I know people that got doing time right now, and they ain't never don't even know the person, but they say, "Oh yeah, he filled on me," and then they in jail 5 years because of it.
Yeah.
So that happened to Tupac. They did the same thing to Tupac.
Yeah. So when you can't get them for some, like, you gotta remember, they tried to charge him with arson because the Sunnis threw Molotov cocktails in one of his buildings. Wow. And it was insured. So they tried to say that it was him and it was arson because his people wear jalabia and the Sunnis wear jalabia.
Yeah.
They don't know that the Sunnis can't stand the Ansarullah.
Right.
Because they exposing all of the fraud in their religious doctrine. And it's the same, they put a hit on Salman Rushdie for writing the satanic verses, right?
Yeah.
They hit him out, but they didn't try to stop nobody from hitting him. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They didn't prosecute the people, the Shah, Iran, and a couple more Islamic leaders that put the hit on him. They didn't go in there and arrest their ass and lock them up for conspiracy to contract a murder.
Right.
They didn't do it. But that had been one of us. We would have been so deep under the penitentiary, we'd have been years trying to dig our way out. Once they got you, it's hard to get out. And if you got any sense, you're going to make it hard for them to get you again. But if you go watch the prison system, the average dude get out of prison, I think they put a boomerang in his back pocket because they be back within a couple of days sometime.
Yeah.
You know? And the worst thing I used to hear, I'll be sitting in there listening to a guy talk. He be like, yeah, on my last bit. What you mean on your last bit? How many bits you done did? Oh, man. I done been down my knees about 7 times. Man, we just throwing your life away and then installment plan.
Man, he might well live in jail.
Yeah, you know, but that used to traumatize me. There's so many guys in there and their conversations starting off, yeah, man, on my last bit.
Yeah.
I'm like, how you do this more than once? You can't do this. This is the dumbest BS in the world, man. How you do this more than once? Explain that to me.
Right. Hey, Rob, why is Nubians claiming Nubians in America specifically claiming their birthrights a threat to national security? Like, why would I know you probably answered this question 1,000 times. I probably said it. But could you go over why is us getting our birthrights back a threat to national security? You know what I'm saying?
Because to get our birthright back is to overthrow the legal fiction.
Well, go ahead.
The legal fiction is founded up on the appearance of legitimacy. It's not that it's legitimate. If they put enough uniforms on the ground, they look legitimate. Mm-hmm. It's the police state. Mm-hmm. We was the only people on the planet that had a mail delivery system. Everybody else had an individual courier. Mm-hmm. they told us it was the Pony Express and it was started by some pale faces, but we had been doing that for eons before they came.
Right.
You know, we had both the women telepathically talking to each other and the brothers, and you know, we out in taking the braves out to learn how to be men. We had to send messages back and report. This is where your Pony Express came from.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And they had a certain amount of time to get the message to the big mama. This was going on. You know, you give her the whole accounting, the roll call, or who with you, you know, all that kind of stuff. And if you need supplies, they know how much supplies they got to send.
Mm-hmm.
But this stuff right here we going through, this is the dumbest shit in the world to me, Elder.
Dang. Hey, when I studied the clan mother stuff, I put the clan mother tape out. I see that the clan mother had a spokesman. Like Big Mama had a spokesman. And
Always.
I was saying that Whack 100 to me, he fit that description. Like he fit the description of one of the Red House spokesmen. Like how he be talking, how he be saying stuff.
I don't want to talk about him.
You know, like Whack because the big U thing, right?
Nope. It got nothing to do with Big U. I don't.
Why you don't like Whack?
Nope, I can't talk about Whack. I'd rather talk about Charleston White.
What about Charleston White? Charleston White is a spokesman for Big Mama?
Well, all of us is in one way or another.
Go ahead.
We either speaking up to make changes, or we speaking up to bring awareness to a certain topic or issue. So we all end up being our spokespersons. But some of us is the spokesperson for the enemy, and I don't want to give them no glory.
Go ahead. So you're saying Whack is he worked for the police. He police. Like Valid, what's the name of it? Jumpman, all them.
Listen.
We go to the next question.
Yeah, let's go to the next question.
My next question that we have for you, brother. Now, being that the killer clowns, they de facto, they liquidating all the assets. It seems like they pretty much but the cops seem like the cops still treating Nubians. The cops they still out here, and I see the Nubians handled it in another way. They ain't being aggressive with the cops. They're like, man, hey, what you doing? Like, are you like you see what you doing? It's like the cops are doing a same intimidation tactics to Nubians, right? Like they pulling brothers over, want to pull them out the car and just treating. But a lot of brothers now know their rights. They know more about what's, it ain't like it used to be back in the day where brothers didn't know what was going on. Brothers know about Fifth Amendment. Brothers know